June 7, 1944. Outside the ruined village of Auti, just north of Caen, a thin mist clings to the hedgerows. The air still smells of cordite from yesterday's bombardment. Inside a freshly dug Panzer position, Oberleutnant Karl-Heinz Mertens, commander of a Panzerkampfwagen 5 Panther, leans against the turret, cigarette between his fingers. Around him, his crew chuckles as a column of burning Allied tanks sends smoke curling into the pale morning sky. Shermans, one of his gunners snorts, they burn faster than paper. The others laugh. The joke is old, repeated since Kursk, reinforced by Nazi propaganda reels showing German steel dominating hapless Allied armor. Through his Zeiss binoculars, Mertens spots another formation of Shermans creeping down the bulkage lane. Green paint, high silhouette, awkwardly exposed, he smirks. Amateurs. He lowers the glasses and calls to his loader. Load armor piercing, range 800. Jawohl. The Panther's long 75mm cannon cracks. The first Sherman bursts into a ball of flame. Its hatch flies open and 2 crewmen tumble out, engulfed in smoke. "See, they never learn," says the gunner, reloading calmly. For the next hour, the Panthers of the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend rake the valley, claiming tank after tank. German confidence is sky high. Even with Allied air raids pounding nearby roads, the veterans believe they are unbreakable. Better trained, better armored, superior in every way. But as the morning fog lifts, Mertens notices something strange. For every Sherman that burns, 2 more appear behind the hedges. For every tank destroyed, another rolls out from the orchard. They keep coming, endlessly, methodically, like an assembly line of iron and courage. By noon, the laughter fades. "Come on, this is Wolf 1. Mertens radios, voice tense. "We've destroyed at least 10, but they're still advancing. Where are our reinforcements?" Static, only distant rumbling answers. The sound of hundreds of tracks grinding through Normandy soil. Mertens doesn't know it yet, but he's witnessing the start of something no German officer had ever imagined. The industrial storm of the United States in motion. By late afternoon, the fields outside Arthi have become a graveyard of steel. Smoke drifts across the hedgerows like low clouds, mixing with the sweet, metallic stench of burning oil. Every few minutes, another Sherman rumbles forward, their engines coughing, their treads chewing through mud and broken farm walls. Inside his Panther, Oberleutnant Mertens wipes soot from his brow. Sweat trickles down beneath his headset. "Fuel's at half," the driver mutters. "Ammo? 3 armor-piercing, 1 high-explosive." Mertens grits his teeth. "Make them count." They've been firing since dawn, holding back what seems like an entire American army. But no matter how many Shermans they destroy, more appear. From the tree lines, from narrow lanes, even from behind knocked-out wrecks. They just keep coming. In the distance, faint at first, comes a rising drone. Not tanks this time, but aircraft. "Panzers to cover!" shouts a neighboring commander over the radio. "Jabos inbound!" The men barely react before P-47 Thunderbolts scream overhead, unleashing rockets that turn a nearby Panzer IV into a fireball. The shockwave rattles Mertens' teeth. "Scheisse," the loader yells, ducking. "Hold," Mertens barks. "We move after the strike." When the thunderbolts pass, silence follows. Then the rumble returns. Deeper now, heavier. From the valley below, dozens of Shermans crest the hill in formation, their 75mm guns blazing. The Americans advance with uncanny coordination, infantry flanking alongside, radio operators guiding artillery by the second. Through the periscope, Mertens spots the white star insignia on one of the tanks, chipped, smoke-streaked, but advancing without hesitation. He aims, fires, misses. The Sherman answers with a shell that slams into the Panther's glacis. The armor holds barely, but the shock stuns the crew. "They're faster than before," the gunner gasps. "How many do they have?" No one answers, because the truth is dawning on all of them. The Americans have more. Always more. Hours later, as night begins to fall and the fields glow red with scattered fires, Mertens receives new orders from Divisional Command. Fall back to defensive line near Buron. Repeat, fall back. For the first time since arriving in France, the proud Panzer crews retreat. Not because they are outmatched by skill or courage, but because they are drowning in numbers. Mertens looks backward through his hatch as his Panther reverses into the darkness. The last thing he sees is the line of Shermans cresting the ridge, their silhouettes glowing against the burning horizon, unstoppable, like a tide that will not break. He whispers half to himself, "So this is what it feels like to be outbuilt." June 9th, 1944. Near Buron, Normandy. Rain falls in thin, cold needles across the shattered French countryside. The roads are choked with wrecked vehicles, German half-tracks, abandoned trucks, and the skeletal remains of what once were mighty Panzers. Inside a makeshift command post, inside a ruined barn, Oberleutnant Mertens listens to the distant thunder of artillery. Maps are spread across a splintered table, edges soaked from rain leaking through holes in the roof. Around him, junior officers whisper in disbelief. "They've crossed the river again," one mutters. "3 times in 2 days," another replies. "Every time we knock them back, they rebuild faster than we can reload." Outside, the rhythmic growl of engines approaches. Mertens steps out, binoculars in hand, and stares down the slope. There, through the grey drizzle, he sees them again. Shermans, dozens upon dozens, advancing in perfect coordination with Allied infantry and artillery spotters. He lowers the glasses slowly. "It's not a tank," he murmurs to his adjutant. "It's a machine made by a nation." The Americans weren't fighting like the Germans expected. They weren't obsessed with dueling the best tank. They focused on winning the battlefield. Every Sherman destroyed was instantly replaced. Behind every tank stood a factory, a shipyard, and a continent that refused to slow down. Meanwhile, German supply lines were fracturing. Fuel trains were bombed daily. Spare parts were non-existent. Many Panzers sat immobilized, their crews cannibalizing other tanks just to move a few hundred meters. By midday, the Shermans had surrounded Buron on 3 sides. The Americans advanced under a protective curtain of P-51 Mustangs circling high above. When German artillery fired, counter-battery fire answered within minutes, a deadly rhythm of precision and communication. Mertens' radio crackled with reports from neighboring companies. "Panzer platoons Y destroyed. Half our guns jammed. Requesting withdrawal." He climbed back into his Panther. The engine coughed, sputtered, caught. As the rain thickened, he steered toward the edge of the village, where the last line of defense had formed. A lone Sherman sat burning in the ditch, its crew sprawled beside it, faces young, barely 20. Mertens hesitated, eyes lingering on the stillness. "Brave fools," he muttered. "They don't even know when to stop." Then he saw them, 5 Shermans cresting the next hill, engines roaring through the storm, treads churning mud into spray. They weren't stopping either. The Panther fired, 1 Sherman erupted, another reversed, smoke pouring from its turret, but 3 kept coming. The exchange was brutal, mechanical, merciless. Gunfire flashed through sheets of rain, mud flew like blood. Within minutes, the field was a chaos of fire and thunder. German precision against American persistence, and for the first time persistence won. As his Panther took a shell through its side armor, Mertens screamed for his crew to bail out. The loader's leg was crushed. The driver didn't move. Flames crawled through the compartment, licking at the ammunition racks. Mertens dragged the wounded man through the hatch just before the tank erupted in a pillar of fire. They collapsed into the mud, choking on smoke. Around them, Shermans rolled past, indifferent, advancing deeper toward Caen. The officer looked up through the rain, eyes hollow. This is how empires die," he whispered. June 11th, 1944. South of Caen. The once proud city lies behind a haze of dust and smoke. Church bells hang silent, their towers shattered by shellfire. Along the winding country roads, the remnants of 12th SS Panzer Division fall back under constant artillery rain. Oberleutnant Karl-Heinz Mertens limps beside a convoy of wounded men. His uniform is blackened with oil and soot. his left hand wrapped in a bloodied bandage. The Panther he once commanded, gone. His crew gone, save for one gunner taken by the medics hours earlier. From a nearby hedgerow, he hears the sound again. The deep, steady growl of Sherman engines. They're coming from every direction now. Above, a formation of Allied fighter bombers streaks across the grey sky. Rockets whistle downward, exploding along the German retreat route. Dirt and debris rain down like shrapnel from the heavens. Mertens throws himself into a crater. Around him, soldiers scramble for cover, some firing useless bursts from machine guns into the sky. "Keep your heads down," someone yells. But there's no shelter left. Normandy itself is turning against them. Every road, every hedgerow, every village occupied by an army that never seems to run out of men, tanks, or courage. By dusk, the German line south of Caen collapses. Orders come over the radio in clipped, panicked tones. All units fall back to the Orne River, leave all heavy equipment. The transmission ends with static. For the Germans, Caen has become what Stalingrad once was. A name whispered with dread. A place where arrogance met reality. And in that reality, the Sherman, the tank they had mocked, is king. Mertens watches as a platoon of Shermans advances across the ridge, their silhouettes black against the burning horizon. He studies them with a strange calm. Their movements are rough, almost clumsy, not elegant like the Panther, not fearsome like the Tiger. But they move with purpose. They move together. In the fading light, he sees something remarkable. American engineers already repairing a damaged tank under fire. Mechanics working as calmly as if they were in a factory. Welding sparks glinting against the dusk. Behind them, more tanks roll forward from landing craft newly arrived at the beachhead. An entire nation's industry is marching across France. Mertens whispers, voice low. 50,000 of these, maybe more. How can one army fight a factory? A nearby soldier, young and terrified, clutches his rifle. Herr Oberleutnant, what do we do? Mertens looks toward the horizon, where smoke rises in long black columns, where the sound of tank tracks never ends. He answers softly, we survive, the Reich won't. That night, as the rain stops and the fires glow in the distance, the once proud tank commander removes the Iron Cross from his tunic and slips it into the mud. The laughter that once echoed in those fields is gone, swallowed by the roar of Sherman tracks rolling towards victory.